What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28. That's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, happy Friday Eve. We're like this close to hitting holidays, dude. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
We're almost there. We're at the point where we're stacking up the games that we want to play versus the ones we have a backlog for.
Well, that's just it, right? I'm starting to make my list now. I'm going, okay, I'm gonna play this one now. I don't think I'm Metal Gear next week. I think that might be the week.
It
might be the return.
I'm bringing it back to 2016, Metal Gear and Skyrim.
Yeah. Okay. Explain this whole Skyrim. Let's run through one more time. Why are you doing this?
Well, I was being frustrated about playing the same game over and over again, looking at Grand Theft Auto, looking at you, and
yeah, you're welcome.
Thought, maybe there's a little bit more time in Skyrim I could spend. I looked at a friend on my friends list, and I go, "What about the achievement list? It's a brand new achievement list. I'm back."
Oh, just like that. If you didn't know, Scott is an achievement hunter. But Scott, let's get on to today's show, where people can join us live at 11 a.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG Reviews. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Today's show, they're not going to be an E3 this year. However, June is quickly adding up to a bunch of showcases. Scott, we got a lot to cover in the month of June anyways. We don't need E3 at this point, and I think, to be honest, I think it's gone. I really think it's gone, but we'll get into the discussion in a second. Roller Champions, the free-to-play 3v3 roller skating game release date has been revealed, and while Scott keeps us posted on more Battlefield 2042 news.
Oh, something I tire of.
I saw you add that. I'm like, okay, this is all you. I'm not even going to talk about it. But we are going to talk about this, though. It's the June Gaming Showcase streaming schedule. Get ready, because there is a ton to talk about. Kicking things off on June 9th, Scott, is Summer Game Fest. This is probably one of my most anticipated showcases, I think. Start time, 2 p.m. Eastern. We will be there on June 9th. You can look for myself and Scott to cover it. What is it? Well, it is Jeff Keighley's centerpiece event and arguably the biggest stream that kicks off the week of festivities. Its previous years has been an indication of any indication. Expect a ton of AAA reveals, trailers, and other surprises. Scott, high hopes?
Oh, I have very high hopes. We've just we've just left, rather, one of the best years for gaming ever. Yeah. Who's going to follow this up? What are they going to follow it up with? The absence of E3, well, it just got renamed, in my opinion. Summer Games Fest.
I think you're right. Honestly, I think E3 has just transitioned over into everybody kind of showcasing their own stuff, and letting Jeff Keighley kick off the event, right? He always opens it up every year, and he just keeps getting better and better as the years come along. And then we get in the award ceremony later on when, you know, the holiday season kind of comes around, but that's a whole other discussion. But either way, dude, Jeff is back. High expectations of some major reveals, right? We know PlayStation's not a part of this. PlayStation, yeah, man, that could be a whole discussion on itself. Where does PlayStation fall within the showcases? Because let's get in, there's a couple other ones as well, and then we'll wrap up with that question there, Scott. On June 10th, Netflix Geek Week is going to be there, 1 p.m. Eastern on the 10th. If you're looking for the next showcase of Netflix and chill, well, Geek Week will highlight around 60 upcoming movies and TV series making their way onto the service. As the name implies, Geek Week spans multiple days and will offer looks at gaming adaptations such as the Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which is the anime version of Cyberpunk 2077, which is taken care of, which is taken care of by a whole other studio. It's not CD Projekt Red. They've actually licensed that out to somebody, and Resident Evil as well. So a couple things coming there.
Cyberpunk is making me think of the Animatrix. If anybody has watched the Animatrix, again, hit me up at Savage on Twitter. I'm always down to speak about that show specifically. But Cyberpunk, I want to see more in the universe of Cyberpunk. The game wasn't pulling me in, believe it or not. So.
Dude, it wasn't my favorite game, honestly. Like I get why everybody had such huge hype and expectations for it, but the minute they announced that trailer, I was already going, Like, it just wasn't for me, right? Like, it didn't really pull me in right from the get-go. I played it, finished the game. I had a decent time. We can talk about the bugs all day long. That's not even here nor there anymore at this point. It just wasn't the world I wanted to be a part of. And I think that was the biggest thing, biggest disconnect for me. And it wasn't...
It's similar to Watch Dogs, where almost in aesthetic and in a lot of different kind of almost futuristic ways. But
almost, yeah.
In Watch Dogs, it really pulled me in a lot.
Me too.
Stronger.
Dude, I love Watch Dogs.
I think it was because I was sitting down and there wasn't much. Well, I was gonna say not much choice, but there is a lot of choice. I felt totally detached from it.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of choice in Cyberpunk, but for me, dude, Watch Dogs was the one that took me away. I loved the first one. The second one even pulled me even more, and then Legions, dude, I couldn't put it down. It was fantastic. So
Legions is the last one that really, I wanted it to take me, but it didn't.
Oh, it hooked me.
All right, dude, Skyrim gets number 3 now.
And then coming up on the same day as well, on the 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern, will be the Tribeca Game Spotlight. The stream celebrates the titles officially selected by Tribeca to compete for the Tribeca Games Award. Expect exclusive gameplay reveals and developer interviews from the following titles. Are you ready for this? Dude, kicking it off is A Plague Tale Requiem. That's where I can stop. I'm done. This is all I want to play. Dude, here's the funny part, right? A Plague's Tale, the first one, I never played. I never played it. Instead, I sat on the couch, watched my wife play it, and she finished the game as I played. I've never done that in my entire life. I'm always the one to play the games. So for me to sit back, dude, I just sat and I watched her play, and it was awesome. It was that's good.
That's a nice switch up. And I returned to that game, but it was far too late.
Oh, it's such a good game. Such a fantastic game. So I have huge expectations now for the next one. American Arcadia, As Dusk Falls, Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, Immortality, Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals, The Cub, Thirsty Suitors, and Venba. I have no idea what that one is.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with those last 3 really, but
yeah, I know.
Cuphead's one that I played a little bit of, but then I never got back into it. I was always looking for a co-op partner. It was one of those. But I watched similarly to your experience, I watched my brother play a lot of Cuphead, and I thought, wow, this game's really cool. I want to see more of that. I want to get my hands on it. And Oxenfree 2, again, I had a roommate that played Oxenfree number 1. Yeah. And 2-3 hours went by, and I hear him from downstairs, hey, you might want to take a look at this. This one's a good one.
Absolutely. And then coming up on June 11th at 11 a.m. Eastern is the Guerrilla Collective. You can't get enough of indie games. The Guerrilla Collective traditionally showcases dozens upon dozens of promising independent titles, several of which will appear exclusively at the event. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on. We'll be keeping an eye on that. We'll probably be there live as well, Scott, I would think.
Yeah. Oh, that's something that I think that's high up there on my list. The Guerrilla Collective, indie titles, is something that's overlooked a lot, and there's usually a lot of really good things.
We're doing a bit of an indie special this week on the show for Inside the Game, and dude, I was looking at a couple, I was like, oh yeah, that one. Oh, this one. Whoa. There's Somerville, which looks awesome. That's kind of one of my most anticipated titles that is kind of on the indie showcase. But they also coming up on June 11th at 12:30 Eastern Time is the Wholesome Games Direct. The Wholesome Game Direct services a companion show to the Guerrilla event that shines a spotlight on cozier indie titles designed to make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, Scott.
Blitz comes to mind, and I see that is listed.
Yeah, so there you go. There's a couple fuzzy games if you want to warm and fuzzy games for you to play. And then, Scott, we get to the heavy hitter on June 12th. This is where it all kind of comes into the end of it all with Xbox and Bethesda Showcase. 1 p.m. Eastern. The whole team and I will be there. We will all be there, Scott. If you fancy yourself a fan of all things Xbox, this is the show for you. Well, yeah, dude, it is the showcase, right? It is now. This is where we find out what's going on with Bethesda, what's going on with Xbox. Where's Fable? Where's
are they going to show anything about Starfield?
So they're going to show. I'm still shocked. Honestly, I'm still shocked that it's been delayed because they have been, hyping up so much of it lately with little snippets of like interviews with the developers and how they're kind of building the world out and all these things, right? So you kind of feel like their game plan for marketing was to get this all prepped and ready to go for their November 11th launch. And then we just found out, was it last week, that they delayed the game to 2023, early 2023, and which is fine, right?
Well,
like,
yeah, you can't arm up that much hype and then just detonate it in your own base.
Well, yeah. So now I think they're going to go quiet, but I think at the showcase they are going to show something on Starfield, get everybody, hey, yeah, I know we let you down by saying we had to delay it, but here's why we delayed it. But this is what you can look to get into. Do I expect to see gameplay here?
I want to see just a little bit of soundtrack, and I'll be happy with that.
Oh,
because the games have an amazing soundtrack.
Yeah, for sure. And then
it's got me listening to Marty Robbins.
Following that at 3 p.m. Eastern is the PC gaming showcase, which is always filled with a lot of stuff, man. Like, you never know what you're gonna get at the PC gaming showcase because there's such a wide variety, right? So that's pretty cool to see. Scott, going back to my question though, right at the top of the show, is where is Sony falling in all this? Where's their state of play? Before, after? What are your thoughts?
Thinking June 12th, 1 hour before the Xbox Bethesda game showcase, they dropped the biggest behemoth of a state of play. It must be in the form of a state of play. I'm not certain if they've done something with a different name, perhaps in the past, but I think state of play would explain it.
I think so. I think we will get a state of play. I think it'll be after the showcase. I think they let everybody go first, and then they end it on themselves so they can kind of steal some of that mind share away.
That's true. Well, they can also calculate, maybe in that time, they calculate the proper counter punches to what's coming up.
Well, that's fair too, right?
What about Nintendo?
Yeah, that's weird because we haven't heard much about Nintendo at all. Though, I don't know if they'll be there. Dude, they have anything? EA's not going to be there. They don't have anything this year. They've already said they're not going to be there, right? Square Enix isn't going to be there either. Like,
well, unless they drop some sort of a, hey, here's a Breath of the Wild sequel trailer. Trailer would be a little too far, I think. A teaser, yeah. I still suspect that's quite a while out.
I think so as well. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for Sony is making sure that they keep that mind share. They're so well at holding that to themselves, right? They don't want to lose that. They'll let everybody go out and then they'll end it on themselves at a high note. That's why you always ended off the E3 presentations with PlayStation at the end of it all on like the Monday night at 9 o'clock or something like that. So that way they could go, wow. And then you kind of almost somewhat forget about some of these other conferences beforehand, right? Because you're on the last one, what was so fresh in your mind. So we'll see what PlayStation has up their sleeve. I'm definitely excited. Yo, we gonna get God of War Ragnarok? I just saw a little snippet of what's happening. Yeah, so they've announced a bit of a teaser trailer kind of accessibility thing today, and we'll be talking that on tomorrow's show. Yeah, so we'll talk about that for tomorrow's show. But either way, dude, I'm excited. It is like the holiday, the E3 holiday festivities are kind of in the air now, right? Like we're this close now at this point, and I can't get it. I can never get enough. But let's see if we get enough of this one, Scott. It is Roller Champions, Ubisoft free-to-play PvP roller skating game, launches on May 25th, next week. Strap your skates on, bud. You're up, is what Connor McCarr says over VG 24/7. Roller Champions, the free-to-play PvP roller skating game coming from the minds of Ubisoft, is launching on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC via the Ubisoft Store on May 25th. This news comes alongside a new cinematic trailer showing off some of the characters' features in the fast-paced action game.
Oh, I'm excited. I have to get this out. I'm going to end up calling it Roller League.
Roller League? What?
I'm ashamed, but I must get that out.
Well, yeah, dude. Oh, that's bad. For those who'd like to get their hands on the title but aren't a fan of those particular platforms, the game will also be launching on the Nintendo Switch, the Epic Game Store, Amazon Luna, and Stadia at a later date. The game will also feature cross-play and progression from launch, so you'll be able to hop between platforms if you pick which one you ever kind of prefer. So that's cool to see. The game is a 3 versus 3 PvP title where two teams battle it out in an arena. It's a goal-focused title where both teams race to score 5 points first in order to secure the win. Scott, what's your expectations of the longevity of this title?
I'm a little worried it's kind of a niche idea in terms of gameplay. I make the joke about Rocket League, but Rocket League has gone on for so long now. I don't think it'll ever disappear.
No.
But is there room for in that space for two kind of titles? Although I don't view this as a direct competitor, but it's just in that similar kind of arcadey, in an arena sports game.
No, absolutely. I think it's funny to. Oh, man, we saw this come out, right? I played the beta. I had a good time. Honestly, dude, I just don't see this game lasting. I think it's going to come out swinging hot for like 2 weeks and then fizzle off. That's my expectations.
I think it'll lie in the roadmap of content, which unfortunately is what makes or breaks a game nowadays. But if they have enough arenas, they have maybe different game modes. There's a lot of creativity they can put into it that might extend that a little bit longer.
We'll see. Dude, there's going to be a battle pass in here for sure, right? It's a free-to-play title. So guaranteed there's going to be a battle pass. They got to make some kind of money somehow, right? Bring in that monetization option and keep this game going. But can it resonate with the fans long enough to keep it going for, like, dude, will we see this game still go in 3 and 6 months? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't think so.
It seems less likely.
Yeah. Speaking of dead games, Scott, you're up. It's Battlefield 2042.
Oh,
nailed it. That's a transition, buddy. Let's go. You're up. Take it away.
Yeah, transition with a big dumping of salt. Well, there has been some updates, and this is no exception here. DICE is removing the 128-player version of Battlefield 2042's Breakthrough mode. This is written by David Carcazole at PSU, and he goes on to say that in Battlefield 2042's next update, version 4.1, DICE has elected to remove the version of Breakthrough. I'm all choked up. This game. They've decided to remove the version of Breakthrough, which supports 128 players. Instead, they'll make it a 64-player going forward. I believe that is an option now, but they're just trying to strip away the unused portions of the game. Going live tomorrow, that being today, this update partially removes the feature that was a major part of DICE's marketing leading up to its original launch. The new update also provides a number of quality of life upgrades, balance changes to some specialists, and of course, plenty of bug fixes where needed. DICE explains the change to remove the 128-player version of Breakthrough in the patch notes, saying it felt that a 64-player mode offered a more tactical experience rather than the chaos caused by 128-player version. I don't really agree with that, Battlefield, when the maps are 100 kilometers square and I can't find somebody with a nuclear device. It's hard to say there's chaos, but we have a quote here from the developer. When reviewing the available experiences in All-Out Warfare, we felt that the 128-player modes are better suited for Conquest, where gameplay spaces are larger and where you have more of a natural fit for sandbox gameplay. In Breakthrough's 128-player mode, we feel that the value and impact of an individual player and squad is reduced due to the increased intensity and chaos of the combat. Okay. I can make sense of that, but I think this is far down the list of changes that the players, the fan base wanted to see. They've changed a little bit of the specialists in balancing. They've dropped Boris's sentry gun has been given a nerf. So that's a very common drop. You see those sentry cannons and they just hold an area forever. I agree they were a little too powerful, but I think maybe can we get an operator with EMP grenades? Or how about we go with the first update that I ever heard about? No operators. We take those operators out of there. We listen to the fan feedback. That's what I would have done long before this. But I think the important kernel in this is that Colonel, that's funny.
You threw me off.
That was unintentional. We do this to each other far too often.
Yes, we do.
At least they are working on it. It hasn't just been canned and erased from public record. they they are attempting to fix it, and that's the one little bit of hope that I have. Now, again, if you want to take a shortcut, just go back to Battlefield 4 and add laser guns, and we're there.
Oh man, it's just, Scott, is it too little too late? Like, are you shocked that they're still working on this title at all? Because I am.
I'm surprised they haven't really just rushed into whatever the next release is going to be.
Yeah.
Something perhaps not pseudo futuristic. Although I'm tired of the past.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. We also saw that with the latest Call of Duty, right? People are just, they want to move on something new. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But speaking of sticking to the past, it's The Last of Us remake release date could be sooner than expected. Dude, so if you look at The Last of Us original remake was like 7 years ago.
It's still funny to me that they're remaking it a second time because
it's a remake of a remake, right? Like,
it's a page out of Rockstar's book.
It sure is. This comes from Dalton
Can't
Cooper.
Complain about those results.
No, you cannot. Over at Game Rant, rumors have persisted that Naughty Dog's next game is going to be a remake of the original Last of Us, built specifically for PS5 to take advantage of the next generation console's beefier hardware. Naughty Dog and Sony both have yet to acknowledge those rumors, but it seems fans may have learned about The Last of Us PS5 remake sooner rather than later. Insider Jeff Grubb, while speaking with Kinda Funny Gamescast, said that he's heard The Last of Us remake release date is scheduled for some point later this year. Grubb pointed out that The Last of Us 2 is nearly 2 years old at this point, meaning that Naughty Dog developers have likely had time to prepare The Last of Us remake since then. Not only that, but there's an upcoming Last of Us HBO series to keep in mind as well. And dude, where the heck is The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer? Where's Faction, Scott?
Yeah.
Come on.
They're working on remaking Last of Us. And Last of Us 2 is 2 years, so they have to clear their plate so they can remake Last of Us 2.
Man, I just that's wrong. Dude, that's wrong too, but I get it. I absolutely get it. That's the thing. At what point do we just stop? Like, The Last of Us has already had a remake 7 years ago, and I get now, like, how many people have not played The Last of Us Part 1? Maybe there's a ton of people.
Personally, I have not.
I know you haven't. I know. Dude, here's the thing. If you remake
you
it for
gotta
PS5,
let me borrow that PlayStation.
Dude, it's got to come to PC. I'm shocked it's not on PC.
Yeah, me too, actually, because God of War, Horizon, those fit really well.
Yeah.
And Days Gone is where I experienced it on the PCs.
Yeah, so Sony's slowly making their way over the realm of PC.
Come on, Sony, take my money.
Oh man, it's such a here's the thing. For those who haven't played, Ellie can't swim in the first game, so I'm wondering if they're going to change. I doubt they change it, but I'm curious, how true are they going to stay to the original with a remake? We've seen a lot of remakes done really well, and then they enhance the experience, right? You're not going to do just a visual upgrade, are you? Like, is that all we're getting here?
You made me think of Metal Gear 2. Or Metal Gear Solid 2, rather. There is a whole other series.
Yes, there is.
It's the Solid 2 where you have to guard the president's daughter, bring her through the water. That's everybody's nightmare during that game.
Water levels. Yeah, I hate water levels, dude. But the biggest thing for me is, how much are they paying attention to? Well, it's Naughty Dog, first of all, so they're going to make sure this game is done well. But how well will it transfer over? Is it the same game? Are we just getting a reskin, or are they gonna add more content? Or like, what else could they really do to? Why not just give us factions, man?
Are they going to sneak little tidbits in there, little seeds that they can build a pre-sequel on in the meantime?
Oh, that would be fantastic. What an idea.
I'm not sure how the story works out. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe there's some things that make that impossible. But
maybe. That's cool. But Scott, we do have one game out today. What is it, my friend?
That's right. We have Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. And that's on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, Switch, and PC.
There we go. Scott, that'll wrap up today's show just like that. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You can hang with us over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg at 11 a.m. Eastern, as well as YouTube at ITG Reviews. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Hit us up on Twitter, the official ITG. Let us know, are you interested in the Last of Us remake? I got a feeling I'll be playing it. I'll tell you. So, but until tomorrow, everybody, I'm Drew. That's Scott, and we'll see you inside the game.